Welcome to our children's story channel for One World Many Stories. Subscribe and hit the like button. Let the storytelling begin. Rapunzel's Magical Adventure, Glowing Star Fairy Tale for Kids, Full Story. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a couple who longed for a child. After many years, their wish was granted, and the wife became pregnant. Their house had a small window that overlooked a beautiful garden, full of the most wonderful flowers and herbs. However, this garden belonged to a wicked witch named Gothel, who was feared by everyone in the land. One day, the wife saw a patch of fresh, green Rapunzel, a type of lettuce, growing in the garden and craved it desperately. She begged her husband to fetch some for her. Out of love and concern for his wife, the husband climbed over the high wall into the witch's garden and hastily picked a handful of Rapunzel. The wife made a delicious salad with the Rapunzel and ate it all. But her craving only grew stronger, and she begged her husband to fetch more. The next night, as he was gathering more Rapunzel, the wicked witch Gothel caught him. "How dare you steal from my garden?" she hissed. The terrified husband explained his wife's craving and pleaded for mercy. Gothel softened slightly but made a terrible demand. "You may take as much Rapunzel as you need, but in return, you must give me your child when it is born." Desperate and frightened, the man agreed. When the baby girl was born, Gothel took her away and named her Rapunzel. She raised the child in a secluded tower deep in the forest. The tower had no door or stairs, only a single window high above. As Rapunzel grew, her golden hair became incredibly long and beautiful. Gothel would visit her by standing at the base of the tower and calling out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would then lower her long, golden braid, and Gothel would climb up. Years passed, and Rapunzel became a beautiful young woman, but she was lonely and longed to see the world beyond her tower. One day, a prince was riding through the forest and heard Rapunzel singing from her tower. Her voice was so enchanting that he decided to find its source. The prince watched as Gothel called out to Rapunzel and climbed up her hair. After Gothel left, the prince approached the tower and called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel, thinking it was Gothel, lowered her braid, and the prince climbed up. At first, Rapunzel was frightened, but the prince spoke kindly to her and told her how he had been captivated by her singing. They quickly became friends, and over time, they fell in love. The prince visited Rapunzel every night, bringing her news of the outside world and plans for her escape. One day, Gothel discovered the prince's visits. In a fit of rage, she cut off Rapunzel's hair and banished her to a desolate desert far away. She then waited in the tower for the prince to return. When the prince arrived and called out, Gothel lowered Rapunzel's cut braid. As the prince climbed up, he was horrified to find the wicked witch instead of his beloved Rapunzel. Gothel cursed him, and in his despair, he leaped from the tower, falling into a bed of thorns that blinded him. For months, the blind prince wandered through the forest, searching for Rapunzel. Meanwhile, in the desert, Rapunzel gave birth to twins and lived a lonely existence, longing for her prince. One day, as the prince was wandering aimlessly, he heard a familiar voice singing. Following the sound, he found Rapunzel and her children. Overjoyed, Rapunzel embraced the prince, and her tears of happiness fell on his eyes, miraculously restoring his sight. The prince led Rapunzel and their children back to his kingdom, where they were welcomed with open arms. They lived happily ever after, free from Gothel's wickedness. And so, the tale of Rapunzel and her prince became a legend, reminding everyone that true love and bravery can overcome even the darkest of curses.
Hit the like button if you found this useful.